morning, everybody. Let me, at the outset, acknowledge our leaders who have attended the last few days. Some are here, some are gone, and in particular, I want to acknowledge our Prime Minister, who spent a few days in Australia and left only this morning. And we appreciate the continued support that he gives to the initiatives of the mining and petroleum sector. Let me also acknowledge all our political leaders from Papua New Guinea, the governors, the ministers, the members of parliament, everyone that has made the effort to be here. Thank you very much for that support. Leaders of captains of the industry, both in mining and petroleum, thank you for your continued support, faith, and belief in our country and the potential for us to be able to have a shared destiny together by investing in our country. I also, in particular, want to acknowledge leaders of our landowners in Papua New Guinea who have also traveled down here with us. I want to highlight their involvement in particular. We have this unique situation in the country where, as we all know, land is owned by our local people, and the minerals and the petroleum in it is owned by the state. So in order for something to work, we need to bring these two parts together. So the more we involve our landowners in forums like this and open doors and opportunities for them, I think we can see successful projects that can give sustainability to each and every project we introduce into the country. So all you landowner leaders from Papua New Guinea, thank you very much for your attendance. I should also express my gratitude to the chamber leaders. This conference in Sydney has been going on for a number of years now, and there's absolutely no doubt in any of our minds that our country and our people have benefited immensely out of those exchanges that takes place in this forum every year. So thank you, Chamber, for always organizing that and being at the forefront. A similar initiative was taken by the Chamber and the Department of International Trade and Commerce. We had a smaller conference in Hong Kong not so long ago, a couple of months ago maybe, and that was very well subscribed. That was the first time we went up that way. And it opened up my eyes to realize that there's also potential up there. You know, when it comes to production, we depend heavily on our neighbors to the south. But when it comes to marketing our products, we need our neighbors to the north. So we have to have a relationship with both the south and the north to have a total package where we can market. So that initiative into Hong Kong was a very good initiative. Thank you, Chamber, for organizing that. My only wish is I hope you organize more of that, because we need to have that dynamic relationship with both our business partners to the south and to the north. Today, I'm expected to talk about the state of the petroleum industry in our country, the industry outlook. You know, when I look at the attendance yesterday, and which was exceptional, and then the attendance again today by all of you here, which is also exceptional, that in itself tells me the full story already. We are at the cusp of some very exciting times just in front of us. This is an exciting time to be involved. And so I'm excited by it. All I can say is to encourage all of you to find your space, find your opportunities, find your partnership, develop your relationships, network, pick your space, and go forward, because there will be plenty of opportunities for all of us, because all of this is confirmed by the extraordinary level of attendances and interest that we already see in this forum, both yesterday and today. So very, very exciting for all of us. For the petroleum industry, things get exciting when we try to introduce new projects. That's when we see a lot of activity and new money, new employment, new business opportunities coming up. So we think that we will be witnessing 8 years of sustained construction at the baseline. And if we manage other emerging prospects properly, we even have the potential to extend that 8 years maybe into 12, 15 years maybe, who knows? Industry captains will talk about those prospects. I'm looking forward to having those conversations, but there will be sustained economic growth that will be supported by the petroleum industry, and I look forward to that. And we've just heard from the Minister for Mining. He's very upbeat about the future of mining in Papua New Guinea, and I'm sure occasionally there will be room for collaboration between mining and petroleum, and my department stands ready to support the initiatives of the mining industry because these are brother and sister industries. A case at point is perhaps the Heights gas to electricity, which is where electricity will be produced to power the reopening of the Porgera gold mine. There's room for collaboration there. We have started talking already, and we in the petroleum sector will give whatever support we can to support them to make sure the mine takes off there too. So there's room for collaboration both fronts. We need to support one another. A short overview from where I'm sitting as the Minister for Petroleum and Energy in the country has to begin with some of the projects that we have already got going. PNG LNG, operated by ExxonMobil, continues to remain our flagship investment in the petroleum sector. The way that business is managed has been very professional, even during some tough challenges that we go through when we have big earthquakes destroying some of our infrastructure, or during the COVID times. We have never missed a commitment to supply gas to the markets. So PNG LNG is continuing to operate very strongly, continue to do that. In the last 10 years since production began, that project alone has generated about 24 billion kina to the government state stakeholders. That's a lot of money just out of one project. Very soon, that project will see to some level of expansion at the processing facility in Cochin Bay, because that same processing facility will be used to process oil production from the Papua LNG. So the facilities there will be further developed, so that will expand the capacity of the processing facility, which is operated by ExxonMobil. So we're looking forward to that growth and expansion. Next is Papua LNG, a project which all of us are really, really looking forward to, and which is, I think, the driver behind many of our attendances here today, which is really good. It is a big project. It needs all of us to stand together, work together, and we can deliver on that project. So as we know already, that project execution or construction is split into two parts. Total Energy is in charge of the upstream, and ExxonMobil is in charge of the downstream, and that's how they split the responsibility to fast-track things. So at this stage, FEED, F-E-E-D, is moving along steadily, hopefully to reach FID sometime soon. And it would be remiss of me not to mention the challenges that's in front of us in the project. It would seem like as this project moves into the construction phase, there are many other similar projects around the world also moving into construction, which has an impact on the contractors that are available to support us in the construction of our project. So that has its ramifications. It also reduces the number of available contractors to support our project. So that's a challenge that our project operators have to diligently manage, and they are working through that issue at the moment. On top of that, they have to seek financing for the project, and there was a time not long ago when investment undertaken by either ExxonMobil or Total Energies in a new petroleum project has always been regarded as a blue chip investment. Everybody came in to participate, either as financiers or contractors of one sort or other. But things have changed significantly in the last 10 years. So right now we have to deal with climate change advocates who have been campaigning very vigorously around the world, and it's also impacted on the ability of the banks to finance projects like this. Banks are listening to some of these objections. It's affecting their attitude when we go out to raise money to finance energy projects. But again, that's one of the challenges you have to walk through. And we trust the leadership of Total Energy, and we know that they will be able to maneuver that through, and we will assemble the finances that are necessary to continue with that project to construction. So these two challenges that I've highlighted, availability of contractors, their costs, and the availability of financing from financiers around the world can impact on our work schedules. So we have to contemplate that in our planning. Our original plan has been to move into FID towards the end or early second quarter next year. But depending on how we manage these emerging issues, if there's a slight delay to move the FID to a later part of next year, always keep that in your contemplations and in your planning. And we should be flexible to accommodate that so that we do this project properly. Then also with Papua, we would have to deal with the landowner determinations. With these large projects, mining or petroleum, we do share the benefits. Whatever comes onto the Papua New Guinea side, we share it with our landowners. In order to know who you share it with, you have to carry out a landowner identification process, which is a process sanctioned by law. So every project goes through that process. We have gone through this process for the Papua LNG over several years. The process was started in the inter-oil days, continued by Total Energy. Preliminary reports were made available to my department. We then carried out our own vetting exercise, independently verifying the preliminary studies that are handed to us by the licensees. That process was completed after many years, many studies. We've engaged experts also to help us to do this very professionally. That was done, and I have signed off what they call the ministerial determination of who the landowners are by reference to their clans on the 5th of December, which is a few days ago. And that's an important hurdle to cross when you are promoting a petroleum project. So we have achieved that. But of course, as with anything, you do expect challenges, and some of you would have noticed that the three leaders of the Gulf province, our governors, Chris Iveta, and the two open members, Minister Soroy and Vice Minister of Petroleum and Energy, Honorable Thomas Opa, they have ventilated objections on behalf of their people, already. And there are procedures under the law in which we can resolve these objections. So we do note and register their objections to the determinations that I had gazetted on the 6th. And yesterday, I should say, I've already commenced the process of dialoguing with these leaders. It's very important that we secure their buy-in so that things move forward on schedule. So yesterday, I've had close to 2 hours of meeting with the governor of Gulf Province that is hosting this project. We spoke for close to 2 hours, and he's been cordial and gracious as always, for which I treasure, and if he's here, I thank him for that opportunity to have an early dialogue yesterday. Thank you, Governor Iveta, if you are here today. I also look forward to dialoguing with my own Vice Minister, Thomas Opa, who represents the Kerema in the Gulf Province, Kerema district in the Gulf Province, and Minister Soroy, who represents the district where the project is located. So over the next few days, we will maintain communication. I think we have a shared interest in making sure that timetables are maintained. So conversations will be made ahead to understand their objections, and we can work out solutions and keep the project moving forward. So to all of you following the project, I want to assure you that the leaders will collaborate to make sure we deal with these issues diligently and ensure the project continues. Next thing we have to do to move Papua project along is to move into the development forum. That's an exercise where the state side stakeholders get together and figure out how we can share the benefits that cascades to the hand of the state. And that's a very, very important conversation that we will have to make sure that whatever benefits that comes to the Papua New Guinea side is shared by all its stakeholders, from the wellhead area, processing facilities, pipeline route, processing facility down there in Cushion Bay, everybody, plus the greater Papua New Guinea share in the benefits that flow from such a project like this. We hope to have that forum soon after the ministerial determination had been published. And so, as I've said, we've done the ministerial determination already, and subject to us thrashing out the issues that have emerged just recently, we will move forward to the development forum. So our first project, PNG LNG, we've never had a development forum, and I can see Minister Arthur Somare there, who delivered the PNG LNG on behalf of the government at that time. He did a great job in conducting the development forum in Kokopo, but I heard there was some element of stress there as well, with many, many people attending. We would like to streamline that process. We've learned from our previous experience. We want to streamline it, break it up into parts, break it up into different venues, reduce the number of people attending, make it a little bit more efficient, and we can come to an early solution. So my department is working out the procedures for us to move to the end of that process quite expeditiously, so that the project can move forward. Next in line for issue that emerges in the Papua LNG project is the national content issue. I suppose the majority of you here are for the national content component of the project. It's of great interest to our people, very important to our country. As I've said in various forums, in a project like this, the government should set some minimum benchmark that should be achieved by operators, and that the benchmark, looking at other similar benchmarks around the world, perhaps for Papua New Guinea, should be 33% of total project spend. And so the operators, the government, all stakeholders, all participants, we should all work hard to make sure that such a target is not only a statement, but is achieved in reality, where at least a minimum of 33% of the total project spend is in Papua New Guinea, So because of its importance, the national government has just established 4 months ago, the National Content Office. They are beginning to do preliminary work on behalf of the government to get that space ramped up. And they've introduced themselves to Total Energies already, and communication in that sector is moving forward. So I think the new National Content Office for that initiative, Simon Sanake, if he's here somewhere, and to Total Energies for your support in accommodating them and starting early discussions with them. Thank you. But really, it's a vague area. I talk about national content, and I myself don't have a very clear idea about its parameters. What do I really mean when I say national content? And that's something that needed to be worked on as a matter of priority. We should give some definition to this concept of what is and what is not national content. And as a starter, and I flagged this with Thomas Morris, Senior Vice President, Asia Pacific, who's here with us yesterday, that it might be a good idea if the state and Total Energies developed an MOU as a preliminary step, so that there's some detail that is developed for the benefit of all you stakeholders who are here, so you can understand at what level you can pitch in, how you can do your business plans, etc. We have a duty to explain ourselves more clearly to you people, how you can be able to fit yourself into this kind of structure that we want to set up. So some definition has to be given to it, and not sure whether the clock is right. It says 000. Time out. So, I have to get permission to, man. I'm told to wind up. Okay. All right. So we've got Pinyang at the back end of Papua. It will connect with the completion of Papua. Some new exciting prospects, peak oil in the New Island Basin. They have some good prospects there, identified some very promising prospects. Those of you who want to invest in that project, please talk to the people promoting peak oil. Same for Larus in the Abau district, Central Province. Similar story, good prospects. They will tell their own story when they get up to speak. Future prospects. Another one is the W business that the Prime Minister talked about the other day. WWW. Is that World Wide Web? But this one is wildebeest, whale, and another W, I forget. Some exciting prospects that's been identified by ExxonMobil. They've taken that prospect very seriously. They wanted to move it into negotiation for a gas agreement. Yes, agreement. Very ambitious. Give them a hand. So the state is looking at this carefully. We've never done a gas agreement negotiation at such an early stage. But they're in a unique position to be able to do that because they have got a producing project. So that is why they're able to make a pitch in the way they did. So we're starting it at the moment. If the state stakeholders agree to it, I might set up a state negotiating team so they can haggle over it. Reforms, my energy responsibility, we've established National Energy Authority by an Act of Parliament in 2001. So in the energy space, please, before you venture into anything like wind or solar or gas or hydro, whatever, please engage with the National Energy Authority. They will give you the best place to fit yourself in so that you can invest properly to protect your investment. So stay in touch with the National Energy Authority, and the MD is somewhere here too. Mr. Meketa over there, thank you. But I'd like to encourage all of you stakeholders to please put more focus on hydro. Papua New Guinea has great potential for hydro, and there's a lot of electricity we can generate there, coupled with all the other government policies. Going forward, we expect to set up the National Petroleum Authority Act to create an authority similar to MRA, Mineral Resources Authority. The bill has been finalized, and my department is doing its own final audit. If they are satisfied, we hope to pass it in Parliament early next year. A lot of you will be holding your breath on my proposed production sharing arrangements. Please don't hold your breath. It's something we look at very seriously, but despite what some people may think that we're not listening, we do listen a lot to our stakeholders. That I can assure you. So by listening, we have changed the form and content of it a number of times. This present version will exclude minerals, so we just stick to petroleum, and we'll try to work out something there. The legal side is fine, but it's the financial and economic side of it which requires a bit more study, and that study, once concluded, will then see to the conclusion of the legal drafting. So we try to make sure that the new landscape we move into has the appropriate formulas in place to meet your IRR and the state's own internal IRR as well. So let me conclude by saying this. In the industry, we do have challenges in front of us, two prominent challenges that we have right now, as I see it, is number one is from these climate change advocates. And I was glad I was here yesterday to hear what the Prime Minister said about that, his feeling about the issue. I think we should carry out a balanced debate, and we must all share the responsibility of making sacrifices equally where sacrifice is needed, so as not to impact adversely on the quality of life of some of the stakeholders and not all. This thing, as I said earlier on, is impacting on the banks. The banks are actually now listening to these advocates, unfortunately, and financing is becoming more difficult. That's a challenge we all have to live through. And as we continue our business in the energy production sector. But the debate is unbalanced. I've always wondered how I should be debating this issue with those people. But I came across, I want to refer this book to you people. For the first time, I came across this book that is very informative. It's written by a bloke called Alex Epstein, E-P-S-T-E-I-N, Alex Epstein, and it's called Fossil Future. I think that's one of the few serious books that helps to balance the debate by putting information in the hands of people like us who are interested in production of conventional energy. All the debates, arguments, information you need to justify your own involvement. It's all in that book. So please, buy one for yourself, buy many, give it to all your supporters too, because we all need to know how to debate this issue, because it's an existential issue for us. If we don't debate this seriously, those guys on the other side are debating with a lot of emotion, and sometimes it's very unbalanced. So read Alex Epstein, and he will help you. Another little threat we have is there's a Supreme Court reference filed by one of our erstwhile citizens challenging the state ownership of mineral and petroleum in Papua New Guinea. It's not a new challenge. Many challenges of similar nature have come in the past and failed. This is a new one that has come up subsequent to our amendment to our Constitution to constitutionalize state ownership of mineral and petroleum in 2014. So it'll be interesting to see how the Supreme Court will deal with that. But with those two challenges I see, generally speaking, the future looks very, very bright. I'm excited, not because of what I know, but what I see now, your attendance. That gives me a lot of excitement, because I see a lot of very educated, experienced, and wise people here. You couldn't put your foot wrong by relying on your judgment, your collective judgment. So we are in the right space. Let us keep doing what we do best, which is the production of energy. They say it's a transition energy, but it looks like it's going to be a long transition. You've heard Tara Sandro yesterday. She's got all this project lined up going into 2060 or thereabouts. So it will be a long transition. So we're going to be in there for the long haul, ladies and gentlemen. So stay positive, stay engaged, and let's create a better future for all of ourselves. Thank you very much.